Yo. Okay, so I'm just getting back in the house here real quick from taking the wife and her aunt and the kid down the road. And I am doing it's not really a thread, but it's kind of Metal Mickey did his top 25 albums of all time. And I was like, yeah, I'll jump on this. And he's like, well, I can't really stop you. And I mean, I don't think he was meaning to do it as a thread, but it's always fun to do this kind of stuff because sometimes you have to rethink of what you're choosing and what you want to do. And this was actually a lot harder than I thought. I mean, there was records that I obviously grabbed that, and there's going to be some duplicate bands in here because, whatever. But the first thing I want to do is I want to show a birthday gift that a buddy of mine got for me. I'm going to preface this. This isn't in the greatest of shape. The actual vinyl itself is kind of warped. I don't know if it's where my buddy had it. He meant well, and I get it, and I'm not here to give him a hard time. I'm not going to show the vinyl, like the actual record itself, because like I said, it is kind of warped. He paid next to nothing for it. I think he bought it just because, well, geez, I know he likes this band, so maybe he'll like the record. So he picked me this up on vinyl, which I'm gonna keep this. Obviously, it's not gonna get played because it is warped pretty badly. This is Nuclear Assault's The Plague. I had this on cassette, and I ended up giving it to. I think I sent it off to Dan Powers in a VCLT. As you can tell, there's some ring wear. He paid like, $10, and $10 is $10, but it's, like I said, it's not in the greatest of shape. I will show you the inner sleeve though, because I mean, for those of you who have this or don't have it, it was a really cool EP the band did. Some great shots of the boys. Lyrics on the back of the jacket, or about on the back of that. So yeah. I know when I took this out to inspect it, this was quite a pain in the ass to get back in there, because of course it's showing some wear and all that jazz, but hey, whatever. This is a thing I hate about some vinyl records and some sleeves. Of course, this is on Combat 2, so holy Lord. There we go. Yeah, it's original press too. So I mean, 1987. It's been around. So I mean, I certainly can't knock them. I mean, it's $10. Pfft, go right in the collection. Hey, can't beat that, right? So I've got one cassette, bunch of CDs, bunch of vinyl, and yeah. So I was gonna mention something, but I'll mention it later on. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to mention because surprises are fun, yes. Okay, let's start with the vinyl. Top 25 records of all time. I'm not going to waffle on. I'm literally going to show quick reason why and move on. ACDC for those, or Let There Be Rock. Simple. I had the CD when I would listen to this quite a lot, because one day I was going through all the discography, and I was like, I'll put on Let There Be Rock. Well, it didn't come out of my Discman. Yes, a Discman, for you younger kids that don't know what that is. It's a thing where you put your CDs in. For about a month and a half straight, this is all I listened to. And a lot of people will be like, wow, why would you do that? Because I fucking can, that's what. And it's been one of my top records of all time. Every song on there is a fucking banger. All killer, no filler. But it's still not one of my top ACDC records. It's up there, but not up there. Moving on, next record. Iron Maiden's debut record. I have an affinity for Caught Somewhere in Time. And I'm not going to lie, that is one of my favorite Maiden records. But this is top 25 all time. For when I joined Beyond Eternal, my old band, I listened to this fucking constantly. And I mean on the constant. I took this for granted because it had Paul Di'Anno on it, and I was really not a Paul guy. I'm probably more of a Paul guy now than I am a Bruce fan. Is there anything wrong with that? Not really. But, you know, each person goes through a discography of a band and then just kind of, you know, goes from there. Now, this next record is probably going to be like, well, how could you show this? Because you never really get into it till later. Yeah, well, it's become one of them. Because for the longest time, I didn't have this record. I didn't even know about this record. Didn't even know about this band. And the same with the one that comes after it. At the Gate, Slaughter of the Soul. Right from the opening notes of Blinded by Fear, the da-da, da-da, it takes off from there. It does a whole pile. This was one of my records that I needed to have, and I could never find this anywhere until I found it in Halifax. Last year, when the wife and I come back from her birthday weekend. And no surgeries that time, because the surgeries didn't happen till this year. So yeah, this is one of the FDR or full dynamic range re-releases from Earache Records, and its partner in crime, my all-time grail. Ever since I heard of this record and I was looking for it and all this and that, Entombed, Left Hand Path. Just looking at this cover is enough to make people want this record. If they're a metal fan. Because you're not going to get a hip-hop guy that's going to be like, I need to go get Left Hand Path by Entombed on vinyl. No, you don't, you fucking clown. Left Hand Path. Old school, Swedish death metal, buzzsaw. Just fuck me. Just, you know, like, look at that. Just look at it. If this doesn't make you want to buy it, I don't know what your problem is. Moving on. And again, another record that I got into a lot later, but once I finally understood the power of it and understood the vocal behind it, it wasn't such a bad thing. Exodus, Blood In, Blood Out. Now, people be like, how could you say that? All the other ones are better. Yeah, I'm sure they fucking are. But keep in mind, I'm not a Paul Bailoff guy. I'm actually a Rob Dukes guy. Okay? But I do happen to appreciate Zettro's vocals more after I was introduced to this record and I got a chance to listen to it. Do I like Pleasures of the Flesh? Yeah. Do I like Bonded by Blood? Yeah, a little bit. It's not one of my favorites. There's a reason why I'm a Paul Bailoff, or there's a reason why I'm a Rob Dukes guy, because that's the first guy I heard. I do have a couple other Rob Dukes bits in my collection. But this record is a really, really strong record. Blood In, Blood Out, Collateral Damage, Salt and Wound, Body Harvest. If you're not listening to Body Harvest as an Exodus fan, you're a fucking idiot. Let me explain that to you real fast. Moving on. Another grail I've had the pleasure of scoring. Downs Nola. You guys know I'm a big Down fan. I love Phil, I love Pepper, I love Kirk, I love Jimmy, and I love fucking Pat Bruder's. Well, obviously Pat's not on this record. This was actually more Kirk did all the bass lines for the record, but the touring bass player was Todd Strange for the opening record. If you look real careful, it looks like there's a little bit of ring wear, but that's what it was like when I first got it, so it's probably a shipping thing. And if you look here at the back, it looks a little bit beat up there too. But again, that was a shipping thing. It was like this when I bought it at the store. But I was not leaving the store without this. Fact. I may have paid a little too much for it because of the damage, but I don't fucking care. Okay? Moving on. Another record that I just stumbled upon a couple of years ago. Late 2019, early 2020. And again, I understand people be like, well, this was out a few years ago. How come you didn't get it then? Because I didn't fucking pay attention to the band until now. Power Trip. Nightmare Logic. The number one song for this band that I absolutely love is Firing Squad. Soul Sacrifice, Executioner's Tax, Swing of the Axe in brackets, Swing of the Axe in brackets. Waiting Around to Die, Nightmare Logic, Ruination, if not us, then who? Crucifixion. If you are not owning this record as a thrash fan, I absolutely wholeheartedly think you're a fucking dummy. Or maybe you just haven't heard of these guys, and that's fine, because I didn't hear about them till lately. But if you are a thrash crossover, little bit of hardcore fan, this is not in your collection. I don't fucking know why. Look at this fucking album cover. Like, to me, this sort of has this, whole suffocation, effigy of the forgotten kind of feel to it. So yeah, if it's not in your collection, you better fucking hurry up and get it into you. Rest in peace, Riley Gale. August 28th of last year. I think it was August 20th or 28th. Either or. Rest in peace, kid. Next record. Fucking no introduction. I'm not even talking about it. Because I love this record. And if you don't, you haven't watched my videos. And if you haven't watched my videos, okay, fine. So guess what? This is my favorite Slayer record. No other Slayer record will top this. Thank you very much. Except for one that comes awfully close, and I'll get into that later. This is without a doubt the most traditional heavy metal record of all time. Fight me. I don't fucking care. If someone asks me, what do I need to know about heavy metal or traditional heavy metal? Right there. Just right fucking there. That's it. I'm not even, if you don't know what it is, it's Judas Priest Painkiller. Now you know, so put it in your collection. Last, vinyl. Black Sabbath, Sabotage. No. Why? Because if you don't know about it, what's your problem? If you're a metal fan, you don't know that record, hurry up. Okay, CDs. What do I need to say about this monster? Underrated by a lot of DC fans. Raw as fuck production because it was produced by ACDC and it just fucking sounds amazing. Underrated. Guitar tones for days. Great drumming, especially from Simon Wright, because Phil wasn't on this record. He left just shortly before this was done. Amazing fucking record. All killer, no filler. Well, Deep in the Hole's not my favorite, but it's not a bad song. And This House is on Fire also. It's not my favorite, but it's good. Sepultura, Beneath the Remains. Do I have to explain this? If you love Sepultura in any way, shape, or form, this is a record you should have in your collection. I do have a Rise, and Rise means a lot to me as well. But the thing about a Rise is that, sorry about the glare there, guys. But you got to think this record really means a lot to a lot of people. This is their more thrashy album with a hint of death metal. Strictly, I think I would say mostly with the vocals. That's kind of where that whole death metal thing comes from. Another record that's made its way into my heart and really has stuck into my heart. Progressive, death metal-y sounding, modernized by French masters Gojira. If you haven't listened to this from start to back, don't know what to tell you. It's heavy, it's crushing, it's technical, but not overly technical. There's a simplistic technicality to this record. And a lot of it's just kind of more jerky sort of time signatures. Get it into you. I think you'll like it. If you love the heavier side of things, you need this record. And I mean, I'm going to go and continually talk about some of these bands I'm just getting into. And I know this is top 25 records of all time. But this really... And people will be like, well, how come you didn't have other Slayer records? Because I don't want to double up on fucking Slayer records. This just barely made it. And the only reason why it just barely made it is because of who it is and their ability to just write amazing songs. Sleep, Holy Mountain. This would be lower tier, I would say. If I was to actually put these in order, which these are not in order, by the way, I'm literally just showing you records. I can't rank these. It's extremely difficult to rank this collection that I have. So this here and probably this would be a lot lower on the actual like, you know, if you go up. So these are just my top 25 records, of course. Because there are certain times when you can listen to bands and you can listen to records and go, this makes sense. This really hits me in a certain way. This really does a lot of things for me. This does things for me, and that does some things for me, and so on and so forth. Next record. I got into this about 2 years after it was released. About a year and a half. Release date for this was 2014. This is Killer Be Killer, or Killer Be Killed. Wow. Yeah. I shouldn't have to explain why I love this band. Greg Puciato, formerly of Dillinger Escape Plan, Troy Sanders from Mastodon, Max Caballero Soulfly, and at the time, on this specific record, Dave Ellich on drums, who was the drummer for the Mars Volta. They now have Ben Kohler from Converge on the new lineup in the new record. This one far outweighs the first. This one absolutely destroys the second record. For me, personally, I do like the second record, but this will absolutely sit far higher because this sits with me in a different way. Lyrically, vocally, musically, everything. Although I do love Dream Gone Bad and Deconstructing Self-Destruction. Yeah, from the second record. I can't believe I forgot that already. Moving on. So here is the second time that a band will, I think. Yeah, here's the second time a band kind of takes over, or kind of gets kicked in twice. Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith. This is the 30th special 30th anniversary edition. Holy fuck, I can't talk. Do I have to? Do I gotta explain why it's that good? Outside of the last 3 tracks, Night Comes Down, Heavy Duty, and Defenders of the Faith, those 3 are Snorville, but the fucking first 7 are absolutely fucking stupendous. Absolutely perfect. In every fucking way. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Fucking fight me, you bastards. Creator's Phantom Antichrist. Now, some guys will be like, well, where's Pleasures of the Flesh? Where's, Out of the Dark and Into the Light? Where's Coma Souls? Well, I don't fucking necessarily like those records as much as I like this. This was the first record that I bought from Creator because I heard the title track in Phantom Antichrist and it fucking blew my skull apart. I also heard Civilization Collapse and I thought, is there any possible way that a human being could sing faster? And then, of course, you'll listen to some death metal records and you're like, oh, yeah, well, there is. This hits differently. This was a really, really killer record. And the one that subsequently, comes after this, Gods of Violence, didn't hit as hard as this did. It's not terrible. It just didn't hit me the way I expected it. For those of you who shit all over me because I said, oh, it's a bad record. Fuck off. This record absolutely fucking rules. I got this in 2014, I think? No. When did I get that? 2013, maybe? Because it came out in 2012? Maybe, I can't remember. My brain doesn't go that far back. It sort of short circuits in my 40s. Then again, it did in my 30s, so I don't know. Okay, moving on. This is the number 1 record for me by these guys. And you know, people will sit there and go on and on and on and on about how bad this record is. They'll sit there and complain and complain and complain and complain. Well, it's not Kill 'Em All. Well, it's not Master of Puppets. No, it's not fucking supposed to be either. This is just a classic record. There's nothing bad on this album. I mean, you know, if I was to rank the songs, I certainly wouldn't be talking about fucking Fade to Black being number one, would I? Like the Call of Cthulhu, Creeping Death, Escape, Trapped Under Ice, which I'm hoping to get a chance to cover in my covers album that I'm doing. Yes, I will be doing a covers record, just so you know. Fight Fire with Fire, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Ride the Lightning, Fade to Black. Fade to Black, For Whom the Bell Tolls, they would be lower on a ranking. I mean, there's only 8 songs. That's why I don't rank albums like Peter does, because Peter's a far better guy to do that than I am. Best Metallica record they've released. Fucking fight me, I don't care. So I like Black Label Society, and a lot of people know this. But I chose to go with a record that has been out for a few years. Actually, 11 years to be exact. And that's Order of the Black. I bought this pretty much when it came out. Or maybe even shortly after. But this record absolutely fucking slays. Everything on here, there's not much on here that I would call filler. And maybe Shallow Grave... Shallow Grave and War of Heaven might be the only ones on here that I don't necessarily like. Crazy Horse is cool. Overlord's good. Parade of the Dead kicks ass. Darkest Days. Darkest Days is probably one of the best ballads I've heard in the last 20 years. Or 21 years, I guess. Black Sunday was good. Southern Dissolution's awesome. This record here is like one of the first ones without Nick Cantonese. Yeah, nope, it has Nick Cantonese on it. I'm an idiot. Anywho, carry on. Next record. This record is my absolute favorite by this band, and the second band, obviously, as you've seen it now, the second band that has appeared on here twice. Actually 3 times, sorry. This record fucking rules. Fight me, I don't give a fuck. Nothing on here track-wise, I mean nothing on here track-wise is bad. Not a fucking one. Yeah, not a fucking one. And even then, Riff Raff might be, if I was to rank all 9 songs, Riff Raff might be number 9. But it's not a bad fucking song. Everyone, just top tier fucking DC. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I may have fucked this up. I think I did. Actually, no, I don't think I did. I think I just had the cassette here because... Hold on. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Huh. 24. I did fuck up. But that's okay. I can make a change here in just a quick sec. I can grab another one. And actually, you know what? I think I'll do that now. Oh, you prick bastard. And there's a reason why I grabbed this one. So, moving on. I didn't count right. I think what it was is there was a CD and a cassette that I had at the same time. So, you guys know I have a love for these guys. This is the record that spawned me to have such a love for these guys. This is what I would call the classic lineup of this band. You had Anders Frieden on vocals, Bjorn Gillot on guitars, Jesper Stromblad on guitars, Daniel, I have to look, I think it's Daniel Svensson, but of course you had Peter Ewers on bass, and you had, Daniel Svensson on drums. Funny thing about this classic lineup is part of this classic lineup is reuniting to form a new band. The band is called the Halo Effect. And that being said, Daniel Svensson on drums, Peter Ewers on bass, Jesper Stromblad on guitars, Nicholas, who was with the band the last several years up until Nicholas Englund, ever since he left and Chris Broderick took over about a year and a half. So Nicholas played on like Sounds of a Playground Fading and the Eye of the Mask, Battles, and some of the other ones. Him on guitar, and oh shit. Now my brain's even more splattered. Michael Stana. I kept calling him Strana. Michael Stana on vocals. Michael is the lead singer of Dark Tranquillity. So basically, 90s In Flames, except Bjorn and fucking Anders are getting back together to form a new band called the Halo Effect. That's gonna fucking rule. Just saying. Take This Life was the first track I heard, and the rest of this here falls in line for me. That's what it does. Now, this was the thing that I screwed up on. South of Heaven. You guys know that I used to shit on this record as often as possible, because frankly I just didn't think it held up. This has definitely changed my mind. South of Heaven, Silent Scream, Live Undead, take it or leave it. It's good, but it's not great. Behind the Crooked Cross, Mandatory Suicide, Ghost of War, Read Between the Lines, Cleanse the Soul, Dissonant Aggressor, Spill the Blood, classic record, and my mind's been changed profusely. Now, the record that I just grabbed, and this one, and the one that follows it, I just grabbed this, and this this basically follows it. Both of these records were a massive part of my growing up, especially when my dad passed. When my dad passed, I had these two records really to fall back on the most. That being said, up until that point, this final record I'm going to show, because this video is longer than fuck. This badass motherfucker showed up in late 1990, early 2000s. I had started a job, and I was introduced to these guys by an album called Demanufacture. I realized that metal was far more different than I could ever imagine. Some guys would call this new metal. It's not even fucking remotely new metal. There's a couple tracks on here that's got that sort of bumping sort of thing. But these guys really know how to put out a fucking record. This is crushing. It's fucking amazing. As I said, it comes after this, or after these two, because I've talked about these enough. This band, going forward, is going to be a big influence on me. Especially with something different. That comes in due time. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I do apologize for the length of this thing. It's basically a fucking half an hour long. So if you have a half an hour to kill, check it out. Stay heavy, and you guys fucking rule.